Black Feather Intuitive. Welcome to Demystify the Divine, weekly readings and tools to connect. And for this segment, we are doing wisdom teaching. And when I was tapping into our guides to kind of find out what they wanted to share and explore this week, I got that they actually had a message for us. And so normally in this segment, I share kind of a how-to on a metaphysical topic. Today, they were like, no, we have a message to share. So I'm actually going to be doing a 3-card reading for you guys using this new deck, the Soulless Oracle from Tara Porter. And what I love about these cards is they don't have any words. So it's just the image, which really helps, I want to say, from an intuitive perspective to really tap into the messages and the energy. And connecting with our guides, I said, okay, well, what kind of messaging do you want? What kind of spread do you want to offer? And they gave me 3 specific questions. So we're going to dive into those specific questions. And a lot of this has to do with where we're at in the collective. What are we doing? Where are we growing? What lessons are we learning right now as a human collective? And, we know that things are moving and shaking. Things are pretty chaotic at this time in our lives. And that can be a bit scary. It can be freaky. It can be extremely frustrating. And at the same time, we're all here and we all signed up for it in some capacity. So what do we want to do with it? So the first question that we are going to answer is, what lesson are we learning this month collectively? And the card that I pulled is the 71. And this is a really interesting card. So I want to talk about a little bit first about the number 71. It breaks down into an 8. So 7 in numerology is, the way I like to see it is, it's the number that indicates that there's still some work to do. I've done some of the work. I've got this working plan or this working object or this working relationship, but it still needs some tweaks before I can really say, yes, this is exactly what I want. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. Yes, universe, bring me a whole lot of this coming up into the mix. And so 7 is the number I like to say before mass production. It's the number where you measure twice and cut once, where you get a chance to dot all the I's and cross all the T's and make sure that what you are building, creating, working on and working towards is exactly what it is that you're seeking. Whether that's an experience or an event or, like I said, a relationship, or a particular goal that you're working towards. And then we have the 1. The 7 and the 1 together is significant in making up that 8, because when we measure twice and cut once, when we evaluate and maybe even test out some of our theories, we have curiosity, we ask ourselves questions, we make sure that this is working before we tell the universe, yes, this is what I want. Then we add in the 1. And what is 1? The number of divinity, the number of sovereignty, the individual, new beginnings. So when we add the 7 and 1 together, it's okay, I'm doing the work to make sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed so that I make these major shifts within myself and feel really good about that, because there's going to be a ripple effect out into the world when it becomes an 8. And what is 8? Mastery. Abundance, the idea of infinity. The soul is infinite. There's a do-over. There's always a do-over, but it's never going to look the same. It's always going to be different. So the message in this card, what is the collective learning this month? What I'm seeing here is this figure. What's standing out to me is all of the red, the root chakra. I feel safe. I feel secure. I have all of my resources that I need. I not only survive, I thrive. The message here is that the divine feminine, and I feel that this is a feminine figure, is saying to you, don't ground into an old platform or foundation. We need to ground into the new resources that are leading us into that new future, that new vision. We're leaving a fear-based way of living behind, and we're moving more into a love-based frequency. And as a result of that love-based frequency, in order to ground, we can't ground into things that we've been doing over and over and over again. That's the definition of chaos. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Or actually, I think it's the definition of crazy. Crazy or chaotic, one of the two, but they both apply, right? So if you want change to happen, you have to do something different. If you keep doing the same thing in the same way, around and around and around, you're just going to be stuck on that merry-go-round with the horrible, tinny music that's happening all the time. So the Divine Feminine is inviting you to root in and ground into the new. And one of the things that's sort of coming to my mind is this idea of, we have a saying out there, don't reinvent the wheel. I'm feeling like we're stepping into a time or a platform, building a platform, creating a platform that's going to support the new, that is encouraging us to be curious and to say, you know what? What if there was a better thing than the wheel? What if I could not only improve upon the wheel, but what if there was something that could replace the wheel entirely, and it would be, even better than what the wheel can provide? If we don't ask the questions, if we don't explore our curiosity, we're never going to actually be able to learn and grow. This is how new inventions happen, because we have those visionaries who beat to the tune of their own drum and don't listen to the naysayers. They don't seek the comfort of the known. They seek the chaos of the unknown, the chaos of creation, and the ultimate satisfaction and fulfillment of what comes out the other side. So I feel like, what lesson are we learning collectively this month? The lesson that we're learning is, don't ground into the old. Don't go to what you know. Explore and expand into what you don't know. Try to reinvent the wheel. Maybe in the exploration of whether that's possible or not, you discover that there's nothing better than the wheel right now. Then great, awesome. At least you explored your curiosity around it and you can move on to something else. It has helped you to shift and change and grow just in the process of that. But maybe, just maybe, you've also discovered a new wheel, a better wheel, a new and improved. And that's what the Divine Feminine is inviting us to do. And that's what we are learning as a collective, to let go of our attachment to the old. And that is what is going to root us into that safety and security and all the resources we need. And not only do I survive, I thrive. It's, I want to say, propelling us into that future that is awaiting us and that we are co-creating as we go. So embrace that. Look at all of the yellow behind all of this red. That's the abundance. That's the abundance. That's where the gold lies. Our second card, how are our individual hearts responding to this call? And what's really interesting here, we have a 46, which breaks down to a 10, new beginnings based on an already established foundation. What I'm hearing here is tenderness, receptivity, nurturing, the desire for unconditional love. And here's the thing, is love unconditional on this planet right now, out in the collective? Hell no. You could throw, a 5,000 meter whatever football out into the field and not hit a single unconditional thing in there. But that is what we're here to bring to humanity. That's what we're here to teach and to learn and to explore and to share, is that we got to bring that unconditional love to ourselves. And through that process, we learn what it actually means. Then we can reproduce it. We reproduce it with, and I always talk about this, it's the animals. The animals show unconditional love. That is one of the biggest gifts that they offer to us. And many people, I feel like a deja vu, I've probably said this before, many people have this idea that you receive unconditional love from your mother and your father. Potentially, your family's supposed to love you unconditionally. Sometimes that is the case. Sometimes, if you're lucky enough to have that, that's great. And that can be your model for accessing the frequency and the energy of unconditional love. Sometimes some of us, we didn't get that. We don't feel that. So you have to find it and seek it out in other places. Animals is the best way to go. Dogs especially. Cats not so much, because they're a little more independent, but they do have that capacity to love you unconditionally, to forgive you when there is a bond established. But dogs, OMG, unless there is some major, I want to say, abuse or dysfunction that has occurred with that poor animal, they come into this world completely open and ready to share their heart and to share the experience with you. And they live in the present moment. And it's very much like the embrace of a mother and their child. There's a nurturing there. There's a playfulness and a joy and a safety. So, how are our hearts responding, our individual hearts responding to this? Either this is what you want and you need to give it to yourself, or this is what you recognize you need to give and be out into the world in order to have that sort of ripple effect. Either way, the heart is not broken and the heart is not hurting. The heart is the center through which you can be in service. The heart is the center through which you make that difference in the collective. You send those ripple effects out into the collective. We often think of heartbreak and heartache because, there's pain associated with that. There's loss and grief. And sure, it's connected to the heart, but really the heart is like a strong, energetic muscle for us. Not only the physical muscle, but it's a strong, energetic muscle for each and every one of us. And that's really significant. So don't count out the heart. Don't have the impression that the heart, I want to say that the heart is weak at all. It's not. It's the strongest thing going. And it's the way that you're able to express yourself out into the world. And our third question, what can we consider as we move through these shifts? Beautiful. 48. So 48 breaks down to a 12, which is a 3. Creation. Lots of creation energy. And so when we're talking about what we can consider as we move through these shifts, we just had the card of unconditional love, right? Now we've got a card of how do we make connection? How do we show compassion to another person? Some people might look at this and say, okay, it's two lovers embracing. What I'm feeling here is it's more an expression of the compassion piece. The way that the one person's got the hand over the other person, it kind of implies that this person is struggling. This person is having a difficult time. This person is feeling overwhelmed or hopeless or shaken up by life in general. And what do we do with that, right? It's let me give you some energy. Let me give you some love. Let me show you that the world isn't all the things that you are experiencing it to be now. It doesn't have to be that. It's that, and it's this. And we can do it together in unity. So leaning into one another, opening to deeper connections with people of like minds, like hearts. Now is a time to really evaluate what you're giving and what you're receiving in your relationships, those close relationships. I like to say your inner circle. Evaluate that. Make sure that it's strong. Make sure that there are no weak links in there. And a weak link, I don't mean to say you are the weak link, goodbye, see you later. It's okay. Obviously, there's something here that needs improvement, or it needs a little bit of attention or a little bit of TLC. So evaluate where those things are coming from for you. Because when we really connect at a heart level, and they're holding each other at heart to heart, when you connect at a heart level, that's where I want to say the, not camaraderie, but the complete understanding, the oneness happens. we have differences, but really you're just like me and I'm just like you. And we're all seeking the same things in essence at the core of us. We're all seeking to be loved. We're all seeking to be accepted, not judged. We're all seeking to be included and to matter on this planet. Wow. So that's our wisdom teaching for this week. I hope this message from our angels and guides has been really impactful for you. Take a moment to breathe in that message. And I would say with this doesn't have to be major action steps. It can be setting the intention and then noticing what the universe brings your way in order to be able to explore it. Those are the big things that are happening here. For more like this, and if you are struggling a little bit and needing a little clarity or guidance on some things that are going on in your life, feel free to click on the link below and book a Phoenix 360 Extreme Clarity session. This is an amazing reading service that I offer. You get a reading from me, a card reading from me, you get a channeling from your guides directly, you get reflection questions, there's a meditation that goes on in there, there's a healing session, there's a personal affirmation for you. If you really want to make some shift and some change, and be intentional about that, this is the service for you. So I'd love to connect. Take care, guys. Have the most amazing week, and we will see you next time. Transform well.